Okay, so the conclusion of these coils from this rollover we did a few weeks ago is they're now here to pick them up. So the guy wants them loaded suicide, so I have to do a little bit of different technique rigging wise. You can see if I were to run the mains to each side of the coil and then I rotated, the core of the coil would be in line with the trailer. This guy wants them loaded suicide, so we got to do, there's a couple different ways to do it. We'll use the auxiliaries, and then you'll see when we pick it up, as I rotate it around, then it'll be perpendicular to the trailer the way he wants it. So just take a few minutes to stick some snatch blocks in here. Let's make that happen. So use this little one. So these auxiliaries are 5/8 cable. It's good for 11,600 pounds. Excuse me. We're gonna have 2 of them going to the load. These coils are, they're aluminum, so they're not heavy. Like one of them's 18, one of them's 16. I'm going to marry these together. I'll stick a 12-ton in there. $12-ton snatch block, that is. And then I'll marry the mains together. Not because of the weight, but just because I don't like pulling on one end of the boom. One side of it, it would probably be fine. Or I know it would be fine, but if you can make the truck work less, then I'm gonna take the extra couple minutes and do that. That's my thought. Okay, so now all that's free spooled. We're gonna get some stick out, and you'll see what that looks like once I get it over by the coil. Turn our free spool off. These cables come out nice and easy. Not used to that. Some of the older trucks, it takes a lot more effort to get them to come out. All right, so the initial pick, it's going to be kind of wonky because the coil is going to have to turn until it's then perpendicular with the boom. But I assure you it'll be fine. Stick one chain through the middle. Oh yeah, I turned the free spool off. I need the remote. That 12-ton snatch block, 5/8 strain, grade 100. Alright, so it'll have to spin when it comes up. Take my gloves off. I like being able to feel the buttons, which sucks in the winter time. I always like to put tension on something and then take a look at the chain connections. So we will do that. Looks good there. So you see it's going to spin. One of these wood blocks under the next one so it can't roll anywhere. It kind of goes downhill right here. Alright. Now you can see as I swing it over here, it's going to be perpendicular to the trailer, which is what he wants. We got two 3/4 inch lines going to it. We got two 5/8 lines going to it. All right, we'll put this one on the front.
Okay.
I'll stop you when you get lined up. So as you can see, the core of the coil is in line with the boom. So as he backs under it, it's going to be perpendicular to the trailer how he wants. Call correctly on the paperwork. I'm going to walk to the back so I can see which way I need to go, right or left. We want it in the center. It's actually not bad. Take a look. Maybe this way some. Right on that groove. It's within a couple inches. That work? Tension. Slide and find where it's going to equal out. Right there. So you can see when you have something lifted from the tip of the boom and then also like midway through the boom, if you just boom up, obviously the tip of the boom is moving more than the middle of the boom. So if you watch the coil, if I just boom up, that raises the one side more. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. So when you're lifting something like that, you also got to compensate that as you're going up. Now we're going to boom in, and you can see it's just the opposite. So you also got to compensate for that. So it's a little tricky when you got like 2, 3, 4 lines going to something and you're not lifting from the same point. You got to pay attention. This isn't much weight, but if you're picking like I've loaded like fuel trucks that way, pick them up with 4 lines and you try to balance everything, it's pretty tricky to keep everything evened out. And maybe for someone that's better at this, it's not tricky, but for me, it's tricky. So if this was just a coil that was on a trailer that was undamaged and just needed to be moved, sometimes they need moved back a few feet to make them scale out. Like, I like to use a strap on undamaged ones. And put a block of wood on each side of it so that the strap and the snatch block is away from the coil and everything. These obviously bounce down the road going like 60, so I didn't have to do what I did with the auxiliaries there. I could have just used one and then just terminated it up there. Honestly, I'm not sure why I ended up doing it that way. That doesn't make sense as to why I did that, but hey, I guess I was overthinking it. It's unnecessary, but I must have got confused there for a second. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there now that I'm looking at it. That was an extra step and an extra snatch block that wasn't necessary. I always say I believe the simple solution is the best solution, but I overcomplicated that, for sure. Forward, I'll rotate it over, give you a different point of view on this one. stuff up.